District 2.
Here.
District 3.
Here.
Secretary is here.
We have a quorum. View and approval of the agenda.
Motion. No red.
I know there's a couple of handouts that Secretary Treasurer Roy wanted to address during his report, so I think did everybody get a copy of these? One's about IHS and the other one's about land transfer. So, okay.
Mr. Chair, can we put on the agenda the long lost lake lots
Okay.
and also the meetings?
Could I have the handout? Great, man.
Also the what, right?
The meetings, our meetings,
Our meetings?
our meetings, yeah. I'm having complaints that I'm not showing up for meetings and being late. Now, I've never been late. I've missed 4 council meetings since I've been on this meeting. I missed 1 gaming commission, which was yesterday. And I'm just sick of this. I mean, I was elected down here just like the rest of you. And if these meetings are gonna be made that we're supposed to be here, then I will be at every meeting. But in the Constitution, it says that these meetings are only quarterly that we are supposed to attend. So if you're gonna make these meetings that we must be here, then I will be at these meetings. But like I said, I've only missed 4 meetings, council meetings, since I've been on the board, and I've been on there almost 2 years. And I've been hearing a lot of complaints from different people that, oh yeah, Raymond not there again, he missed again, and he's late again. And I'm very seldom late. I very seldom miss these meetings. So either you make these mandatory meetings or that will be there, or then I don't want, I don't hear it, because it says right in the Constitution that we should be out meeting with our members, being out meeting with other band members, and that's exactly what I'm doing. What I find out there is what I'm bringing back to our reservation to help us with. Yesterday we were honored up in Boyport, and they give us an honor song and works, which was, I think, was pretty neat, and I think that's what we need to be doing, is being out. But if you're gonna make the meeting mandatory, then I will definitely be there at every meeting, because like I said, I only missed 4 meetings, and only missed 1 gaming commission. So yesterday I heard from a few people that I was being bitched and cussed at for missing meetings. I don't appreciate that, just so y'all know that.
Well, you're not from my house.
I'm just letting you know, that's my feeling. So these meetings, I mean, people are coming in late. It's already 9:30, it says we should be at 9. We should be going on time. If they're gonna bitch, they're gonna bitch about that, then, because if the meetings are gonna be mandatory, I will be here at every meeting. I won't miss another meeting unless I'm sick or something happens. But thank you, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, I think the notices that go out for the special meetings is 24 hours, and I know Alan's been pretty good at that, getting those meeting notices out there. When it comes to our special meetings, of course, a lot of it is due to the signature requests of grants and other things that we have to get out right away to our, to these companies and entities that we're working with. So I know, and that's what's all built on time. Like next Wednesday, we're going to schedule another meeting, special meeting for the CT, what's it called, the CTG Lisa's working on.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so we're working on that one. We have to get that approved next week, because we have to have a public, what did she say?
Public comment.
Yeah, on Monday, so we're gonna meet on Wednesday on that one to get that grant though. That's a $1.2 million grant, so. And I think those are the things that I think what Ray talks about is I think what we're I think that maybe those are the things that maybe he's not getting to his office or whatnot, or I'm not sure.
Yesterday I didn't get a call-in number. Usually I get a call-in number. We made it so it would be necessary for calling in, mainly for Kathy, because she's got appointments and stuff she's gotta be at, so we did make it so we could call in.
Yeah, and it shows in the minutes. I mean, if Scott was there and Maria was there,
I didn't get a number yesterday to call in, or I would have called in.
Yeah, those are things that,
I didn't get no.
I don't know who's. Anya, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
was heard of that.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up because I had about 4 complaints yesterday that,
Who are they?
I'm not gonna say, I don't, because they don't wanna get in trouble, they were just telling me that. Maybe they're telling me to buy me, I don't know, but that wasn't the first time I've heard it. So that's why I wanted to bring that up today. But thank you, Chair, for buying.
And we do have our last Friday of the month is our regular meetings. You know, we've been accommodating the Friday before because of other stuff that's been previously planned. Like this month is we're having our TEC next Friday, so we moved the meeting up here for this week. So we are accommodating and we are giving advance notices, so. You're good. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Kathy, second?
Second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Alright.
Motion carries. Our review and approval of the meeting minutes, 12/20/19 and 1/6 of 20 and 1/13 of 20 and 1/22 of 20.
Angela, Lagarde, Edward is here with.
My ceiling collapsed and I got little kids there and man, I'm old. I can't be, I got a steroid today and I don't know if my leg was numb from that or if I touched something electrical. But I gotta have some help. I mean, if it was a fire, you know, and my little girl's mother just died. They're literally worrying about a roof over their head, you know? So I don't know if I can get some emergency, maybe now that you're all here, you know, housing too. Maybe there's something that you can do to help an elder. I've never asked for anything here. Whenever I worked for the res, I did a good job and I worked hard for my people. And over here too, something wants to go on, I gotta go out and round people up, you know?
It's a trailer house.
Yeah,
She,
we got the inside fixed, they did the siding and all that, but that's all gonna go, you know, if the ceiling keeps leaking. So the whole thing, just 10 years I gotta last to raise those little girls. I'm not diabetic,
Trailer house?
yeah. You come there before, I seen you,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, you can't get any services around here, my God, they come and got mad at me, made me pay for garbage. I'm 65 years old, I've lived here for 40 some years, all my kids are here, most of them are Leech Lake, all my kids are Leech Lake, most of my grandkids are. But, and then so I paid them, you know, come quarrel at me, you got paid. So I paid them, I only got my garbage picked up 3 times, then they quit. You know, it's just everything here, it's just so hard, you know, we might as well be living in China. You can't get nothing from, no help from anybody. And like I said, I'm old.
I think you do. We used to have some contractors over here.
You know, I appreciate you bringing it up, but I've had a lady for the last year who lives right in the reservation at 65 years old, and her trailer house is, half of the siding is gone off.
Come on now, Ray, cause she lives there, that makes it
I know, but
you
I'm
know.
just saying though, but if we can help one, we can help the other. Because she's been on me for about 1.5 years for this, and I would gladly help you in a heartbeat. But I'm just saying that I have been pushing for this lady on the reservation, and she is also 65, and over half of her siding is gone. You can actually see the insulation on her house.
I'm gonna get some money.
You got little
So
kids there too.
no disrespect to you there.
Well, I know, Ray, you're never disrespectful to me, you always have been, you know, good to me,
We
and
had
I
to,
appreciate that.
we could pass a budget on, that's what that Elderly Affairs Commission we were working on, because there was funds available that we're trying to get some guidelines set up. And we're about 90% complete, but we gotta bring it back to you guys for approval. And I wanted to put about 100,000 into that fund so we can help our elders on reservation and off.
Don't they get money from us here too?
Yeah, I just talked to Ray, or to Dennis, and, He's gonna go back, when he goes back to the office, he's gonna check and see about getting more money up here, right? And you're gonna talk to
MHFA off.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just a shame, man.
Andrew, who's working on your house, or?
That's another thing. The money that they gave me, I kept track, and they said they replaced my sink. I'm using a ratchet to turn my cold water on. That did not get replaced. Gary Stevens, we went through it, and I said, well, Gary, they didn't steal as much as the other contractors, and that's bad. To say, well, I only got, a little over half of it stolen, because I was on them, and to say that he replaced this and now he's walking with the cane. He's way younger than me. His hands are all messed up. So, it comes back on you. You want to rip off old people. I don't know. It's just, a big ball of wax.
don't have a emergency type situation that we can go to right now? Or should we all kick in there? I think we should send someone over.
I was asking, obviously, who's our contractor over here, I'm not sure if we have one or.
Well, see, then you gotta have a Leech Lake contractor. And I know the last one was terrible, never did nothing, took your materials and I'm what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But I mean, you just don't know every time you turn around. They get money to help us. Then, I can honestly say I've never been turned down by Leech Lake because I know better to go and ask.
I'll have to look and see what we can come up with for some emergency help.
Yeah, because I don't have to worry about mold too. I can get that part repaired and maybe wait until, the weather's not so bad because I hate to see, putting a roof on in the middle of winter. And I'm doing all kinds of man's work here, shoveling, and I painted. We kept up too. We painted, we laid tile. He didn't hang that back door right. So now, water leaks if it rains and my floor starts buckling. But we, me and my kids, and they're very good kids. They don't destroy nothing. They take care of things.
There are 4 or 5, 4 of them.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them. I got the tiny one. A lot of the time, but
Hi, I'm Don from the secretary for the White Earth Urban Council meeting. The White Earth Urban Community Council. One thing is that I'm sitting back here and listening, and yes, I understand that it's an emergency situation, and that, but it's like, what are we gonna do that's gonna be proactive and long term? Like it's like I'm hearing. Last time I was in the RBC meeting, I heard the same concerns about how contractors are not following through with a lot of things, or moving on, not getting certain things done. So are we working on certain policies and procedures to hold these people accountable so that they will get the job done and take care of our elders or anybody in housing? Because the mold crisis and things falling apart and being so far out in rural areas not only affects, our elders, but also our families, the children. Thank you.
I knew your mom and your dad.
Okay.
You're younger than me.
Well, I know our new way of housing director has been doing what he can to help out, and he has been taking a lot of applications. He always gets back to me when I talk to him, and we have been discussing this and that. So,
Who's
yeah,
the new, what's his name?
Dennis, I hear Dennis Jackson.
Oh, yeah, he's a good kid too. He's hard working, honest.
Yeah, and we haven't had too many complaints since we got him in there, so. But yeah, I would love to help you somehow, I mean, if we can.
I suggest, that you get one of your guys up here. Like, I don't know.
Do we have to have a leach league? No, I think we could send an old crews over here, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think there's some other contractors up there.
I think so too.
And, get a price, divide it up.
Rick might know some other contractors, where is he?
I don't know who's living around here right now.
We look hard and we do stuff here.
You'll find out.
We'll figure something out for you.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I got plastic sheeting and we used a stapler, did that, and I knew it was gonna come down. It come down this morning. Again.
So you don't really have any help at all, I mean,
No.
that's raising your grandkids and your daughter.
No, but June, that's what I mean, you know, they're thankful for me, but they're literally worrying about a roof over their head. And one of them's got damaged lungs from parents smoking meth around her already, you know. Like my youngest one.
All right, Ange, I mean, that's something that we'll talk about.
I'm sorry for taking everybody's time
No, no, no.
butting in here, guys,
No, that's-
everybody.
We'll talk to Stacy about it, and we'll get back to you, okay?
Okay,
Rich.
thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you leave your phone number and stuff like that?
I have your phone number, so
Oh, you got it
I
phone
got a
number?
phone number, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my landline's still the same, you got my cell phone? Okay.
We can, call your number.
Yeah, I nailed up that plastic sheeting that should hold. I was gonna poke a hole and let it drip and I don't know, man, I just.
All right, guys, do you want a motion on everyone individually or all four at once?
You're doing the agenda, or not the agenda. No, they could do them all together.
Okay. I'll get a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 12/20, 1/6, 1/13, and 1/22. Motion by Kathy, second by
Second.
Raymond, all in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Motion carries. All right, next up is the reports, the council reports, and, chairman's first, and I guess some, the stuff that I have to report is I know this past month, we had a visitor from the commissioner of the DNR, and we had a lot of staff, and, 2 council members showed up to it, and I thought it was very, very productive, and I know we talked about 1855, we talked about line 3, we talked about the water, so there's a lot of good discussion, and and we had both commissioners from the Minnesota Pollution Agency and also the Department of Natural Resources were both there, so I thought that was a really good consultation. So I know we talked about homelessness. We were down in the urban area again, and also we converted our Bagley property into a homeless like a homeless hotel. I mean, for temporary housing. So we did that, and also I know meeting with Secretary Treasurer Alan Roy, and we're talking about the capital. Capital improvement plan. We're looking at doing a lot of different stuff. I know Scott and Pat Butler and Ben Ament are all working on, and also Martha Williams are working on the plan to how we're going to create and plan for the future of some of the how do you say it, the services that like we just talked about right now is how we're going to help our elders and help everybody across our nation, and to progress anywhere from joint venture to the Christian retreat for family treatment services to building the clinic in Rice Lake to add on to the just all kinds of different stuff that's done. I know there's a whole list, and I think Scott showed me a list of it, and there's probably about 10 to 12, 15 things on there that they're working on. So I know it's a big task for them to put that together for us. So, and then what else? Well, the other thing I want to address too, guys, and I know there's something coming up, and I addressed this to the council before, is some of the stuff that kind of concerns my office is the social media that we're doing. So I know this is something that that we have to keep. We're public servants. We have to hold our accountability. We have to our standards have to be high too. So we just have to be delicate what we put out there, on anywhere from Twitter to Facebook, that we just have to be delicate what we say, because we represent all of it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So I mean, I know next week is TEC, so I know there's some stuff coming up with that, and, I encourage all the band members to show up to that and come to we're hosting it, so. Miigwech.
Okay, thanks. Well, I just want to thank the community of Cass Lake here for hosting us here to come up. We don't see you guys often enough. Usually we try to make it up here once a year, and so I just want to thank you for hosting us. And for the staff that made it here and our urban community council that made the trip, I want to also thank you as well. After my remarks here, I have Scott and Scott there that are gonna talk about the financials that I've asked them to talk about for the financial report of the tribe here. But there's a couple things that I also want to bring up. I got a couple of letters here related to a couple of issues. The first one is the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer. It's a letter written today, and I'll just read through it. And it's related to informed consent. And it's a letter to the band membership that I would like the RBC to consider. It reads, White Earth Nation. Minnesota Chippewa Tribe has denied the Reservation Business Committee's request to address the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe land transfer at the upcoming Tribal Executive Committee regular meeting scheduled for January 31st, 2020 in White Earth, Minnesota. With this denial, citing decorum of tribal membership as justification for not allowing discussion, TEC officials have requested the support of the White Earth Nation to move the MCT land transfer bill through Congress by contacting Minnesota Representative Colin Peterson. In its most basic terms, the proposed land transfer will retitle lands held in common for 40,000 tribal members to individual bands that comprise less than 6,000 tribal members on average. The White Earth Nation represents over half of the MCT membership. Several requests have been made to the TEC on the status of these lands. Very basic questions such as what's on the lands, what's in the lands, what are the lands worth, all have gone unanswered. Until these questions are answered, the White Earth Nation opposes congressional action related to the land transfer. While the resolution by the TEC has been approved for a congressional request, which is a lawful act within the MCT tribal government, the inherent unassailable sovereignty of the White Earth Nation shall not be sacrificed for the sake of congressional expediency. As tribal members hold beneficial interest in the lands to be retitled, all tribal members have a right to know the financial interests of these lands before they are retitled. Without this information, informed consent has not been achieved by any standard of law or common decency. Furthermore, the efforts of the Sandy Lake Band of Chippewa for federal recognition will be delayed or denied with the retitling of the lands. The White Earth Nation attempted to mitigate this issue within the TEC tribal government, but it appears our relatives will face further displacement. Only this time, the displacement will not come from the hands of the United States government, but it will come from the hands of a tribal government. The oppression of Sandy Lake is systematic as they have been denied lawful enrollment in land. As Indian people, we lead with love. Sandy Lake deserves our support. Furthermore, it is the belief of the White Earth Nation that the retitling of these lands will further divide our families and people across the MCT. It is also the belief of the White Earth Nation that once the MCT becomes a landless tribe, requests from bands will be made to separate from the MCT. The rush for financial gain will lead to continued segregation. We ask for your support to request this information and to oppose any congressional support. We hereby request Representative Colin Peterson oppose congressional action until these issues are resolved. And it has signature block for each of us there. In short, what I'm saying is the people have a right to know what's on the land, what's in the land, and what it's worth. And we've requested this information several times and they have not provided it. And so if we just allow this to happen, then, we're not honoring our tribal members to have a right to know this information. And basically all I'm saying here is that we want this information and then do as you must. But until this information is provided, then, we're not going to support this in Congress.
They'll be breaking out on trees, we do that.
And so I would like to request the RBC approve this message and we send it to membership and to the MCT and put it on our website and all that. Maybe put out a press release because there's a lot of pressure in Congress right now to get this passed. And like I said, I'll read this phrase to you guys one more time. While the resolution by the TEC has been approved for a congressional request, which is a lawful act within the MCT tribal government, the inherent unassailable sovereignty of the White Earth Nation shall not be sacrificed for the sake of congressional expediency. What I'm saying is just because you want it so bad doesn't mean you have the right to step on us. And we have a right to know what's on these lands, what's in these lands, and what they're worth. Tribal members have a right to know that information. So I ask for this for approval, if permitted.
All right, we're asking for the letter to be published, to put on our webpage and, to go forward with that. So there's a motion to approve the letter. Motion by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The second letter that I have here is I have received a request from Senator Tina Smith's staff, Raven Gibbs, and I'll just basically they wanted to know if we were consulted on Mr. Fry's appointment as area director for IHS. In short, we were. Kathy was on the panel, but we don't know if the other tribes were consulted. And so I'll just read it here. Dear Ms. Gibbs, thank you for reaching out to the White Earth Nation related to the recent appointment of Mr. Daniel Fry, former CEO of the White Earth Service Unit. You inquired whether White Earth.
Excuse me, former? Did you say?
Yeah, because he's been promoted.
He's been promoted to area. He's the area director now.
He's
Very
area
good on the interview.
For area director?
Not for area director.
No, she did for the local one, yeah, not for area.
Say again.
Not for area.
So let's make it correct.
Oh, so we need to correct the letter?
So what is he, is he area director, like all the states?
Yeah,
So he's
he's
the
a-
local director.
No, he's
Over.
area, but she's sat in on interviews for local, not the area,
Oh, you sat in for the local,
not the
Yes,
area.
I did.
but you weren't consulted on the.
No, I wasn't.
So my original letter
Don't we
that.
have Chris pull up for our area?
Okay, so I have the original letter here. Can I just pull it up? It's different than this one. Raven Gibbs. Let me just pull it up. Sorry. So you were just on the local.
Just, yeah.
So you didn't know that he was.
Promoted.
When did he go? Chris Bull was.
Just last month, I think it was. Another 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay, so this is the letter. I'll read it. Loaded. See, I had a feeling they didn't talk to you. I'll just read it and then I'll print it. Okay, so it's to Raven Gibbs from us. Thank you for reaching out to my office related to the recent appointment of Mr. Daniel Fry, former CEO of the White Earth Service Unit, as the new IHS Bemidji Area Director. Your office had 2 questions. First, what are our thoughts on this appointment? And second, if the White Earth Nation or if any tribal nations in Minnesota were consulted on the appointment. I'll answer the later question first. To the best of my knowledge, White Earth Nation was not consulted by IHS on this appointment. As for other tribal nations, I cannot verify if they were consulted or not. To answer the first question, I believe Mr. Fry is a professional whose skills will be of great use to White Earth Nation and to IHS. However, since July 2018, I have been informed of multiple EEO complaints from the White Earth Service Unit and a recent settlement that occurred. I've also been informed that there were several resignations. Do I believe that these are the result of Mr. Fry's leadership? No. Generally, it is understood that IHS leadership selections are comprised of IHS officials and tribal officials that operate a panel. As White Earth Nation was not consulted and the ongoing equal employment opportunity complaints at the local service unit that remain unresolved, the following recommendations are offered. 1, reconvene the IHS area panel and involve tribal nations to select area leadership. 2, return Mr. Fry to duty at White Earth Nation Service Unit to resolve these outstanding issues. 3, provide White Earth Nation an update on the status of its local service unit EEO complaints. Please send our regards to the Senator, as she has been a strong supporter of White Earth Nation and Indian country. So in short, we were not consulted. How can you appoint somebody without talking to us, to tribal leadership, whether it's White Earth or any one of them? So I would ask if you guys want to approve this message then?
Do you think we need to get more information how the process works with IHS? I mean,
Yeah.
do they have to have,
And what
I think
I-
Liz used to work at IHS. I mean, she used to work actually in that field, so.
Well, Cassie shut in on that.
They should have, they should have contacted Kathy because she's our representative.
They should have let Cassie know what was going on. I mean, that's kind of
Last time
disrespectful.
I
if they
talked
didn't
to
let-
him,
Yeah, if they didn't let you know, I think that's
everything was
disrespectful
fine.
That is disrespectful.
to one of our council members. That's wrong. I just-
And I actually like him too, you know, I like him at White Earth.
Anybody
Was
look
it
at-
good work?
Me too.
Looked out for
One of those brought up at Mass.
Liz, how does that process work with the selection of IHS area director? I know that you worked for IHS and admin before, so.
Yeah, they do it differently for those executive positions, the area directors, management and above. Usually they have panels that come in. There's typically 2 or 3 rounds of interviews that they do, so. But it's usually starts
Yes,
at,
12 and up.
it usually starts, it's supposed to be, you know, with the local leadership team, and then from there it'll go to like the regional team will sit in, like IHS, and then Wiki has final.
I know they discussed it at Mass too. I'm pretty sure that was discussed in Donald at the, maybe that's Alliance of Sovereign Tribes conference they had over there, because I know Scott Bailey, he's on that board also, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the executive director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the executive director at Mass, but I think he's on that Indian Health Service board thing, I think also. And I didn't go to Mass, so I'm not sure if that was, any of this was discussed there at that, because I'm sure Michigan and Wisconsin would all fall under the same
Yeah.
service area.
Can we approve this on Wednesday's meeting, Al?
Yeah, no, we don't need to.
We might think to gather more information on this, I think, to get it kind of straightened out.
Wednesday.
And I think Wednesday, we'll review this again and come back to it on Wednesday to see where we're at with.
Okay. So I'll set that aside. So that concludes those 2 letters. The only other thing that I want to add is that we are making tremendous progress. We've funded a lot of homelessness stuff here this past quarter. And as we're looking at, as the chairman said, we're looking at capital improvement projects that we're trying to get a plan, budget put together before the end of February for the council to consider. So we're taking a long look at what we're trying to do here. We're also working on the Elder Affairs Commission. We're working on several of these commissions that we're trying to get done. It's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. And it's just a lot of work. I know the chairman just stepped out though. I did get a call yesterday. I am pending orders to Africa. And so I don't know how long I'll be on orders. I don't know where I'm going or what I'll be doing. But
But you're going to Africa?
so I'm pending orders. Now that might change between now. The soonest that I will be called up is March. And so I've informed the tribal attorney. Know there's some things that we got to talk about as a council. And so I'm just gonna gather all that information. The more information that I gather, I'll let you guys know the effects of that. And so bottom line is we'll just continue business. Be business as usual. And a lot of these ideas and a lot of these duties, that's why I've asked Scott and them to come here to start that process of reporting on these financials in case of my absence. Those actions are still occurring. And so I know we have the staff that are working very hard and they're very consistent with getting these minutes together. They're getting them up on the website in a timely manner. They're getting them to the RBC in a timely manner. And so those are the two core functions of my position. And so those things are being done as we speak in a timely manner. And so
How long will you, huh?
I don't know. I don't know how long. I don't know where. I don't know what.
Hey, be careful over there, they have that new coronavirus. Oh, you're brave, I wouldn't wanna go there.
I just know it's gonna happen. I'm pending. So now that could change. I'm pending. So that could change. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. But that concludes my remarks. I appreciate you guys' time. I'll turn it over to Scott. And Scott, you guys want to talk finances?
1, 2, and 3 haven't been done.
Leonard, I didn't recognize you, Leonard. Tom, wait. Say you too.
Just you and Alice.
No, you guys will get your time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll go first. Okay, go ahead. So, Shooting Star Casino, casinos, this is a consolidated, statement of net revenues. So, our net revenues through, October, November, and December, we had a solid, first quarter. We had a, year-to-date, for 2.2 in net income, and we had a budget of 541,000, so a variance of 1.6 million. EBITDA, we had a year-to-date EBITDA of 4 million. Year-to-date was 2.8, a variance of 1.2. So it was again a solid start to our first quarter. We had some weather, whether it was temperature or storms in December, that we would have not had the weather, so we would have had some better numbers. But overall, a good start to the first quarter.
Okay, so on the government side, for the government activities overall from October 1 through December 31st, the first quarter of fiscal year 20, our combined revenue was 55.9 million and our expenses were 21.3. December 31st of 2019, our cash on hand was $63.2 million. 62.5 million is considered other governmental funds, with 41.4 million of these funds belonging to behavioral health, and our general fund had $669,000. Collectively, our expenses during the period for the quarter were 21.3 million. Other governmental funds were 17.7 of that, and the general fund was 3.6. These numbers are all preliminary numbers and are subject to change before audit, things of that nature. On behavioral health alone, their preliminary numbers through December 31st showed revenue of 7.3 million and expenditures of 7.6 million. So they had a loss from their program of about $266,000. And they have $41.4 million cash in the bank. And so these numbers are audited as well and will change as time proceeds. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, the final, my final remark, Mr. Chair, there was I requested public comment on, the following. In our meeting yesterday, we discussed, the credit union, potential, some changes there. The hotel improvements, potential changes there. And RBC investment account of, I think they said anywhere from 8 to 12 million. Is that correct? Is that correct, Scott? 8 to 12 million?
8 million.
8 million?
Oh, yes.
8 million potential investments, and then a bond refinance.
Yes.
And so, I would like to request the RBC, puts together, a notice to the public of these things, cause it's a lot of money, you know what I mean? And so, and just put it out for public comment, and then maybe for a decision date at the end of February there, at the special meeting after the gaming commission. If the staff could, put together information, put it on the website and for public comment, and then in the newspaper and all that, so travel members they can say stuff on what they think about it as well. So that's my only request that I have of the RBC.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm new to these meetings, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to jump in there. But I'd like to request also, when you send that out to the community and to our White Earth members, to kind of explain how we, what these different monies could be used for, or how they're gonna be allocated, and so that we have more information in regards of just how to use stuff and what's the purpose of them.
So what I think would work then, Scott, for the casino there, Mr. Stevens? I'm sorry, he's busy. So what I'm thinking is, like, just very practically for this public comment, is maybe we host like a public meeting, you know what I mean, at the casino one day, and we live stream it, and we go through each of these areas and we talk about, well, this is what it is, this is the background information, this is what it affects, this is how these funds plan on being used, and then you can take public comment on that. You push it out on the website, you push it out on the newspaper, you host a public meeting at the casino sometime in February before the 24th, whenever that meeting is, and then we take that information and so the RBC can make an informed decision, and the membership is well aware of what's going on, so.
If that's the desire, yeah, we can arrange those.
You guys okay with that?
Those can be good ideas, Mr. Secretary,
Yeah,
but there's potentially one thing that can be negative about
okay.
it. The more we publicize, especially when we talk about the money that we'll be using for the casino, all of our competitors hear what we're doing in advance, and they have a better chance to adjust to the stuff, because our current CFO said when he was working at Hinckley, White Earth was very good to them and would always advertise what we're doing, and then they would be proactive and do something.
So what I would suggest then is it'd be a closed door meeting, you have to produce a travel member ID. Right? If you want the information, you gotta be a tribal, band member, you gotta show your ID to get in the door. And, if you want the information, you wanna say something, it's a closed door meeting. That's what they do in Boys Ford, right? So,
Then you wouldn't want to live stream it.
so if you want the information, come and check it out. But I still think there should be public information that is enough for a tribal member to be, or a band member to know that this is actually happening. You know what I mean? You don't have to go into specifics on the notice. It's just in that briefing, you can go into detail of what's happening. I think band members have a right to know what that money's gonna be used for.
Can I jump in there, and also to help educate us more
Yeah.
of exactly what's going on, so that we do have a voice and what is, so that our voice can be heard. So if I'm not educated enough, I'm not gonna speak up and say too much because I'm confused. So I think it's really important that we also start, empowering our community by educating them and, exactly how the process is working and, yeah. I appreciate you listening, thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to address that as a tribal member, $8 million or $12 million of our dollars or my dollars. I'd really like to know, where they're gonna be spent and what's the return on it. If there's gonna be a return on it. Because, in the existence of the casino, from beginning to start, there's been a lot of, confusion on my part as a member on what I'm supposed to receive from those dollars that the casino brings in. And it'd be nice for the membership, along with myself, to know what the return is for all of us. Not just saying that, we shouldn't be so secretive about our dollars. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the only thing newspaper, website, presentation, public meeting, you gotta be a member to get in the door. And then just give them the information and collect the feedback, and then RBC can reconsider it at that next meeting.
My tribal ID's expired, they might not let me in.
Right.
They wouldn't let me use it to fly.
All right, our District 1 wants to go first.
Oh, yes, thank you, Chair. Good morning, glad to see you all here. Honored to be here on our on Leech Lake Red, see our constituents. I know I talked with a lot of them last night right at the casino there. They come up and talk to me about this and that, and that's always good to always hear. And this gentleman right here, he keeps in good contact with us. I'm always visiting with him. But, you know, that homelessness, being the chair of the homelessness, I just have to let y'all know that this homelessness money that we put in is not for electric bills, it's not for paying for rents, it's specifically designated for homelessness. And we did open a warming center in the cities, and we just, with the red tape and the loops that we gotta jump through, it's kind of hard to try to get something moving right away, but we do got our hotel in Bagley now that we're using. But we're using it as a hotel because the city council is kind of giving us a rough time as to using it as a homeless center. So right now we're calling it still a hotel, so we're renting the rooms from the hotel to put our homeless in there. And so far it's been working. We've had a couple of minor matters in there, but they have been taken care of. We are doing the best we can. And just so you know, we are in our infancy stage and working on this. And believe me, I never knew it would be that hard to begin a homeless shelter or even an overnight shelter because of the rules and the regulations. A warm-up center now that we got in the cities, we are trying to get that into a 24-hour, but there are, like I said, there's red tape and hoops that we got to jump through, but it sounds like the city of Minneapolis is going to work with us. We had met with the mayor, the chairman, and myself and Alan met with the mayor, and they are willing to work with us down there. The one mansion is in pretty good shape. That's one we're using but it's kind of hard right now to allow someone in at 8 o'clock and then tell them they got to leave at 5 o'clock in the evening, you know? So we're trying to get this into a 24-hour, but if you got a bed or a cot in there, it's considered a homeless shelter because then you got to go through all these other things, sprinklers and whatnot. And that's the same thing in Bagley. If we were to turn it into a homeless shelter, we'd have to put in sprinklers in all the rooms, do certain things to the rooms. So right now we're still using it as a hotel and renting the rooms, and that way the city of Bagley can't say nothing. The city council can't come after us for something that we're doing wrong because the city council is kind of against that. I don't understand why, but I believe it's because it's only for our members. We're not opening up to anybody else because our membership is like they said, for every 10 members of ours, at least 4 or 5 of those are homeless. Now, that's a lot of homeless right here in Minnesota. What do we got, about 12,000 here? So you figure at least 4,000 to 5,000 of those are homeless. And I know we can't reach them all, but we are doing our best. But I know as we move along and we progress, we will be able to set up, our main goal is to set up 3-month and 6-month programs for families and individuals so that we can get them into the wraparound services. I know right now we got 4 in Bagley Hotel right now that are agreed to take the wraparound services, which are one is going into outpatient treatment. He's getting anger management. He's getting work. They're helping him doing his application for work. He agreed to everything. So these are going to work, and I know it takes time to get things done, but we are active. Like I said, we are an active board here, our RBC, and I do thank my other fellow members here because this is an important thing, and I know they're all behind this homelessness because we have been working diligently on it. But that's the one thing I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of people are mistaken that this homelessness is for heating and it's for rent. Well, it's really not. And in the last few months here, I have been getting a lot of calls on electric, people getting their electric shut off, running out of heat. And I know that's hard. I was gonna ask today if we could maybe see if we could appropriate some more money because some of them have already used up their energy assistance and there's no other place for them to go. I have sent a few to the county, and I know the county has helped on a few of them. I know one they just helped got turned on. And of all this, it's not funny, I think, but the lady went in and they didn't even realize she had lights on because she went and turned the switch on, nothing on it, but here all her light bulbs were burnt out in her house. One guy changed the light bulb and they come on. So she was out of there for 2 days before they realized that she had her lights on. But it just takes time, and I appreciate the people being patient with us. I mean, we do our best. I know there's sometimes our council doesn't always come to terms with each other, but we are able to work together and work things out together. And to me, that's what teamwork is all about. And I appreciate working with the council that I'm on. We do get our business done one way or another. So with that, otherwise, District 1 is doing pretty good so far. We're moving right along. And that's all I got for today. Be good.
It's sad how Smalley and took over all the housing we fought for the cities, you know? How do they do that? Our poor little people meander around and don't get nothing. They're so meek, and here come them. They just have all the businesses, all the housing. And then I heard they get like $5,000 for being refugees, torture victim, and all that.
What do you have?
Trump should bitch about that instead of taking away our little AFPC,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and victims of torture. I think it's like 2,600. And then, you know, the men have all the wives there, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Reed. Kathy, you're up next.
Okay, for District 2, I want to, we had a great meeting yesterday. Yesterday was from 9 until 5 o'clock or later. It was a long day. And as far as homelessness, we're at 35% on rest. That is a lot. And I mean, when I find elders in the woods in their cars, it's terrible. Terrible life. We only have, what is it, 6 days or 5 days? 6 days before Bagley steps in again. And that's what one of my worries is. I thought, well, how are we going to get, are we going to renew them? Are we going to, how's Bagley going to step in there? That's one of my concerns. So I'm kind of worried about that. I want it to go at least 6 months. Get it to normal weather, and I do feel bad about housing. That the loss of $5 million rent. That they're really wicked people. In fact, your district and MC is really counting on that. And District Two should have been, but it was sent in that way. That is, my biggest concern is the homelessness, you know, for this. And I look forward to Raymond. I know Raymond's working hard with the homelessness on that, but as far as, the new, one thing I am proud of is our new, community council, all three of them. I do feel bad that, they went out and we bought their own presents for twice the time. And that's wrong. And every community has them. That's just been
What happened to Toys for Tots?
It's the Waiter's Christmas Toy Program. We went off what, we compile all the databases, so we make sure that there's not duplicates. So we go off numbers that our community councils provide to us. So that's how we buy the toys.
And some are like 40.
They don't donate them no more, the Marines don't donate to the kids?
No, RBC purchases.
Well, they said
these
with the
toys.
casinos that there's no poverty there. Oh, geez, you know.
So
Well,
there'll be
anyway.
more discussion on that.
Yeah.
I'd hate to have your job, Reed. Well, I can't believe our people living in cars. Grace Rosebud used to do that, not us.
Well, and so right now, that's my biggest concern. You know, I want to thank Scott Stephen for what he's been doing over at the casinos. The Wyndham Gateway is really holding its own. It's really been helpful, helping all of us. So that's why I'm really glad that. And I know it needs a lot of upkeep on beautification problems that we've got going on right now. So that's what we're working on. That's what I should say, Scott's working on. And as far as finance, we're fine. You know, I like to get that word out, especially the numbers I heard yesterday. Don't you think? I think so too. 53?
I'd like to thank everybody for showing up here this morning. Pretty nice building. We purchased this a couple of years ago. I know everybody up here enjoys it. We had some funerals here already. There was one here Wednesday I attended for Jim Armstrong, a strong supporter of the Whiters. So thanks everyone for doing all their hard work and due diligence here to make that happen. I guess everybody's talked about the homeless project. That's mostly what we've been working on lately, the last 30 days since last time we had a meeting. There's some difficulties that we have to go through, like Raymond said, about some staffing and some stuff through the city. If we're gonna get that 24 hours in the urban area. But I'm glad we got the Bagley one opened up. We've been struggling to find out what we're gonna do with that, and this came around, and now it's finally being put to use, a good use anyway, you know, for our people that are struggling out there. As far as, I hear you guys talking about electrical bills and propane bills and stuff like that. I mean, we need to let everybody come into our homes when the census takers come. Do that census, that helps, that funding for all of us, you know, that's means more money coming to the reservations for gas and electricity and funding for other that are out there. You know, that census is a big deal. That means a lot to Indian country. I just want to express it again that everybody needs to make sure that they do the census, let them into your door and give them some names. And other than that, that's about all I have to report on. Really, we got just to say that we have tribal elections coming up here, so I know that's on every reservation. Wish everybody good luck and take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grigorich. Okay, next up on the agenda is, do we have any division reports? Any divisional directors show up?
Yeah.
Who's here?
Okay.
Okay. And I guess we have housings up next. That Dennis is yours.
Thank you guys for having me up here. My name's Dennis Jackson, I'm Director at White House. We have 82 people on the list right now, 24 vacant units, 6 are pre-assigned. We had 2 evictions in the last month and 3 move-ins in the last month. So,
You have it broken down by district?
not right with me at this moment, but I can get it to you.
Okay.
We are gonna look into MHFA OPRES. I understand they used to offer it, 4 years ago, so I'm gonna look into that and get back to you guys about it. Start helping out our members that live off the reservation.
Does anybody got a number on that?
That's what I asked.
I like to see how many White Earth people live here. I try to round them up, but they're so quiet. I'm like,
I think we're gonna okay that money for that Pine Bend Rice Lake project today, that needs to be taken care of also,
Yeah, I agree.
That Rice Lake project, we are, it's 19 units in Rice Lake and 4 in Pine Bend. And they're gonna be pretty much mini mansions when they're done right, so. As long as we get the, our shortfall picked up.
You guys got a resolution or?
I think they did have resolution.
There was one, yeah.
Oh, it's in signatories, okay.
HR, we are looking for a financial manager right now. Also, we'll be posting for a project manager to oversee the Rice Lake Pine Bend project. And the state wanted us to hire a general contractor, so we'll be putting that out for bids also.
I think under HUD you have to have a general contractor, don't you? Or
That old grad, they didn't have one, but, all the problems that arose out of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, waiting to sign some contracts with the Federal Home Loan Bank and Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, so we can start the homeowner repair on res. We got about 40 from Federal Home Loan Bank and 25 from MHFA. We did put a app into the BIA for HIP. We compiled a list of 9 people, but there was only 37,000 in the whole region that the BIA allocated last year, so that's,
and
oh, you took more to administer it.
yeah, that's about it. All the tax ones, we're getting ready to convey them. Waiting for the rules to come down from MHFA and get a plan going together. That's 6 in Strawberry Lake and 22 in 5 Point. Any questions or anything like that? Thank you.
Hey, where's Dennis? The health service is in here, and I know the tribal college is in here, so. We'll move on next to the elders. Is the elders representative here? No, Senator Tito. All right, next up is take a break, guys.